first one we're going to talk to, and he's been pestering us via text all evening. It's Dr. Roger Gewolb. Roger, what are you up to? He's a former advisor at the Bank of England.
He looks like he's in a Talk TV studio.
Good evening. How are you?
Good evening.
Look at that. What is that, Roger?
That's just Roger.
Just me?
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what he looks like.
Roger.
What's that?
Roger, where
have you gone?
What have you come on to talk about tonight, Roger?
I had this morning on my show a 17-year-old girl.
Interesting. And what's your show about,
Was this for
Roger?
a BBC show?
No, this is my own show, The Gospel According to Dr. Roger.
Yeah,
Right.
And I've had all sorts of guests, Mike Graham, all kinds of people, Alex Phillips, all kinds of people. But I also have a lot of young people come on.
Somehow, because
I've been on it, haven't I, Roger?
You've been on it.
Has it been on yet?
You've been on it, yeah.
All right, I'll watch that. Yeah, it'll be good.
The episode is coming out this week or next week. You're absolutely right.
Ooh, look out for that.
Morning, This morning I had this 17-year-old young lady, and she told us a story that in her school she declined to call the substitute teacher, who was obviously female, him.
yes.
And instead kept calling the substitute teacher her, referring to her as her.
Yeah.
And the substitute teacher apparently became very upset, and as punishment refused to let this girl go to the toilet and use the female loo.
Wow. Oh, to kind of prove that gender's all in your mind.
Because she had misgendered her, is how it was explained. And apparently, from what we've been able to gather, the officials in the school stood by the teacher in letting him, her, it do that.
Well, no, I've got to be honest with you. I think Roger is right on a number of things, but one of the things I think is right, the English language says if you are neither male or female, you're an it. So if Sam Smith is not a they, it's an it, right? No, I'm not saying that as an insult.
Just for factual.
There's male is he, female is she, and non-gender specific is it. So I'm happy to say that Sam Smith thinks it's neither male nor female, but it's not they.
So the reason I was laughing so much, I was imagining a male, female logo, and then the it on the toilet door. It.
Yeah, that's right.
My guest said that this substitute teacher was clearly a lady, was clearly a woman. I mean, there was no doubt about how this person looked.
I mean, that's the interesting thing, Alistair, because we've talked about Leah Thomas, the aforementioned 6'4" swimmer from the University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And I've made this point before. We talk about, is a trans woman really a woman? In the case of Leah Thomas, is this person genuinely trans? Because all he's done is grown his hair long and called himself Leah, and that qualified him to swim in a female competition. Also, I mean, fairly obviously, and I don't make this a facetious comment, I've never been in the female swimming changing rooms, but because the suits are incredibly fitted to make them faster, apparently they really have to shimmy into them. And I mean, it's not like us lads just pulling your pants up. It's going to be really embarrassing to have some bloke in the changing room.
I think it's
yeah. Well,
there's children.
Sorry, Roger. Alistair first.
Sorry, Roger. Sorry, that's number 3. No, I think it's really disturbing to have a male in a female changing rooms. There's children there. You got your crash, you got your cots. There should be no man, regardless of how long his hair is, regardless of if he calls himself Trisha, to be in any female changing room.
Even if he's fully operated, I don't think there should.
And the way you got to look at it is if he's upset, how many women in there are upset?
Yes.
Yeah?
That's absolutely right.
That's the way you've got to look at it.
Well, they're saying that they'll be, they'll have trouble in them if they go in the men's. Well, but then they're going in and causing trouble in the women's. You know what I mean? It's sort of a double standard, isn't
I'm starting to think, actually, Roger, and I don't know what your view... Well, no, I'm not starting to think. I know that my view on this is, if you have had gender reassignment surgery, then I'm all right with it. If you go in with what appears to be a vagina and breasts into a female changing room, I'm all right with that. I mean, obviously, I think it's just, and I'm going to be blunt and I'm going to be provocative. It's if you get your schlong out in front of the 9-year-old girl.
I don't think that is provocative. You know, that's sort of. I suppose
it's true, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I find the whole thing very confusing, but I think that this story of this girl, I mean, forget the misgendering side. Yes. It's that a person who was only a substitute teacher, I mean, not even part of the establishment, really, I feel had no right whatsoever to punish somebody by not allowing them to relieve themselves.
It's a human right to relieve. You can't. It's a medical problem.
What is she supposed to do? Pee on the floor?
Well, exactly. That's what she should do in protest. And go, well, you've told me I can't.
Humiliation punishment.
Then she'll be punished for that.
A dirty protest.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you said to me, well, you can't go into the male toilet, I'd piss on the door. I'd openly do it. I'd say, well, you know, if you don't, I should have said pee there, but you see my point. Well, okay, well, in that case, I'll urinate on the floor then, the girl should have said.
I'm surprised you didn't say I'd pee on you. Know?
Well, I mean that would be some sort of an attack.
That's another story.
But Alistair.
Yeah. But anyway, it was a terrible story. You know, it shocked everybody on our show. It's just so unbelievable that
but is this still going on? But Roger, let's talk about dates. Not you and me. Let's talk about dates. Did this happen before or after the Supreme Court ruling? Do we know?
Before, but I don't think it made a difference. Why? How would it make a difference?
Well, one would hope it would make a difference. I'm just interested. Had it been after, then it would be clear that Lloyd's Bank had successfully led a campaign to completely ignore the law.
Although it was clarified, they'd been ignoring the law anyway. They just got it wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the way because Roger is in the banking establishment. When I just did that little teaser on Lloyd's Bank, did you see he didn't grab? He didn't grab. His little mouth didn't go for it.
I didn't take the bait because it's more serious than, you know, there are a number of institutions in the city that have unisex bathrooms now, and that's a little different. Men and women both go in there and use them, and the only separation is the cubicles that have toilets in them. And I just find it absolutely horrendous. I don't know how the women stand it, frankly.
No, absolutely.
And it's very uncomfortable for men as well.
So actually, you had one final question.
Oh yeah, what do you think? Because you're an economist of note, Roger. What do you think about this tariff deal? Apparently, we've been shafted by you lot, the Americans.
I don't think so. I think it's a pretty good deal. I mean, the tariffs have come off on various things, steel, etc.
But do America buy any steel off it? We don't really make much steel. They're not going to buy any of our steel.
It's the principle that counts, and I mean, you know, you could say the same thing about
Isn't it the pound, shillings, and pence that counts?
You could say the same thing about cars, Ash. You know, British people go, oh well, you know, our tariffs on your cars don't matter because nobody wants your American cars anyway because they're all gas guzzlers. But you want our cars because they're wonderful, Range Rovers and Jaguars and Rolls Royces.
Well, they're India's and Germany's cars.
No, they're not.
Well, we make them.
It's important to understand we're talking about stuff manufactured in the UK rather than who owns the company.
Yeah.
But they make BMWs and stuff in America. Apparently, if you buy an American BMW, they're not as well made because they're made by people in America rather than Austrians, if you get a European one.
Or Mexico, I think.
Yeah, Mexico. So you want one built by Austrians, wouldn't you, rather than...
OK, Roger, thank you so much. And by the way, thank you so much for messaging in.